All right, Sequels friends, today I want to share with you my reseller hot takes, or more realistically, my reseller honest takes, because I'm way more informative and friendly than I am snarky. I have been technically reselling in some way, shape, or form for over a decade. During this time, I've researched a lot, tried a lot of things, and watched way too many YouTube videos with suggestions of what I should do for my reselling business. And I have to be honest with you, a lot of them just didn't work for my particular business. So today I want to share with you my honest takes of things that I wish I heard somebody saying when I started my reselling business. Oh my gosh, you guys, look, it's winter out here in Western North Carolina. Already winter. I am not mentally prepared for this. All right, I have my iPad here to go over some notes so that I don't forget any of the 10 hot takes that I have to share with you. So let's get into number one. First up, thrift store prices aren't the problem. Bad buying is. I know, it stings me to even say it to you in this manner, but these are technically hot takes, so I have to be a little bit snarky. So I did a whole video about how corporate thrift stores pricings are increasing. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it above and below so that you can check it out. And with thrift prices going up, with reselling changing, with more people as the economy changes jumping on the side hustle market, we have a lot of obstacles working against us. And the days of maybe just picking up a $5 bread and butter item may not necessarily work anymore. The higher the prices get, the more you're going to need to focus on quality. Whether that's during this time of year, maybe you need to focus more on jackets, wool sweaters, wool jackets, performance wear, LL Bean, things that are known for their quality instead of just picking up bread and butter. So on the subject of adapting, let's talk about some things that are more important than a quality ring light and a fancy office. And that is, you do not need a fancy setup. You need consistency. And I have a updated office makeover video in the works. And you guys, when I pulled old footage from when I started YouTube like 5 years ago, I had nothing. I had this office, a sewing machine table, the lights of the sun and the overhead, and woo, can you tell that in some of those videos? No mannequin, no clothing rack, no ring light. And guess what? I sold things and I sold them consistently. Get started, get a listing going, wait until it's a bright sunny day, maybe even go outside and take some pictures if you don't have the right lighting and get some things listed. This is exactly what I did. And then that money that I started to pull in, I used to upgrade my office and my systems. Number three, $20 flips aren't necessarily bad. They just depend on your strategy. For me, it is becoming a smaller and smaller part of my business model. I do not like chasing $20 sales. If it is a $20 sale or something I got in the bins, I want it to be something that I expect to sell quickly, and giving me that money so that I can go out and thrift again. Otherwise, I'm likely going to pass on it for something that maybe is more expensive or a better quality. But remember, reselling is not a one size fits all. That is why I have so many of these tips to share with you and hot takes that maybe other people wouldn't agree with, because different things work for different people and different business models. Now, if you are a tried and true vintage lover like me, I live for vintage. I love vintage. It is in my heart and soul since I was a young girl to dress vintage, buy vintage. This is a hot take that may be hard for you to hear because it's hard for me to say. Not every vintage piece has value. Some, they're just old. But if you are looking to move things quickly, or you are looking to bring in a higher average sale price, then you're gonna have to leave some of those vintage finds behind. Quality vintage, I know it's going to be like a broken record on this. Quality vintage, things that are in vintage that are trending, really will move and sell. Some vintage items are gorgeous and you can appreciate them for that time period, but they have very limited niche appeal and they may not be worth much money. So think about what works for your business model. Also, what works for your setup. Do you have room to sit on these things? These are all things to consider, and maybe tell yourself when you're at the bins and you have a cart of things, maybe I need to leave this for the next reseller. Which brings me to my next point. Hasn't sold in a year and you've deleted and relisted it. You've done all the things. It's time to move on. So I have a pattern to where I'm really, really good and diligent about this, and then I let it slack because of other things. What I found works for me is if it hasn't gotten a lot of viewership, likes, sold, moved in 3 months, then I refresh, relist. If it hasn't moved in 6 months, now it's time to be realistic. Is it time to redonate it? Is it time to add it to what I have as a clearance category, like just $10 and take it and I can get my cost of goods back out of it? Or is it something that I really like? I don't get why it's not selling. I think it has value, in which case I will drop it into ChatGPT. You guys know I've been having a heyday with chat lately. I'll explain how to do that in this video card above if you don't already know or haven't seen that video. If you've done all those things and you're still at the year mark, like I don't even make it to the year mark. I try not to make it to the year mark. I try to say, do that at 6 months, and if it hasn't sold by 9, it's getting redonated. But maybe you want that to be the year mark. Maybe you want that to be a 1.5 mark because you have way more storage space than I do. But you need to be consistent about that. This is so hard for me. And I honestly hope that some of you guys in the comment section say that this is a problem for you as well. Number 6, buying something to avoid leaving empty-handed is a trap. I've traveled to different places to thrift, and I feel like sometimes the further away I go, the less luck I have, and I tend to pick up things I shouldn't have because I don't want to leave empty-handed, given that I've put the time and effort in, and that is 100% a mistake. And it's a hard thing to do. It takes discipline to walk away when you know something is not working, but it is better to do. Otherwise, you're going to sit on stale inventory that's not going to sell, and you're going to spend money that when you get back home, you don't have to spend at your best favorite local Goodwill that probably had a butt ton of stuff that you could have picked up. Hot take number 7, live reselling works, but not for everyone. I've seen so many resellers, like their business change once they get on Whatnot. And if you've watched a lot of big reselling channels, you've seen it yourself. Their channels move from reselling to basically how to resell on Whatnot. And that is awesome, and that is wonderful if that is the business model that works for you. For me, it just is not working. I love to pick up quality. I love to pick up vintage. I love to pick up those pieces that I know people are going to buy and that they're going to last for them. They're going to have them in their closet. They can hand them down generationally. That is not necessarily a live selling market. In my opinion, a live selling market is cheap and deep. Part-time, I want to go out shopping when it's convenient for me, when I'm not doing my other tasks and jobs, and I don't want to buy high volume because I live in a tiny cottage and do not have the room to store it. But for me, I'm not sure that that is something that will work for me in the long run. This is another pet peeve of mine, number 8, and I'm getting a little hotter as I'm talking about it because this one, there is room for everyone. Competition is mostly in your head. Watch YouTube videos and they're all running for the new racks, or they're like, haha, I got it before the other resellers did, or whatever this competition thing is. And maybe they work best on competition and that's why they do it that way. But for me, it drives me nuts because just in my little area of Western North Carolina, and with all the resellers we have, there is way more than enough stuff for everyone. We are at max capacity with stuff in America. We do not need to be knocking down each other to get to the stuff. And especially if you focus on quality, if you find your niche customer, if you're not trying to appeal to every single person, then you're much less apt to feel like, I have to get it, I have to do it now. We're almost at the end here, folks. Number 9, reselling is simple, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it's easy. So you're gonna see a lot as the economy gets worse, as more people are let go from jobs and looking for jobs. You're gonna see a lot more side hustles come in, and a lot of people are gonna start reselling, and some of them are gonna resell from around the house, and some of them are gonna start to thrift to resell, because it looks like something that's easy. If you know fashion, or you like clothes, or you like home goods, then you know enough about it to probably sell some. But what people forget is that it's still work, and sometimes tedious work that even people who've been reselling forever don't enjoy doing. Photography, listing, they're tedious tasks. Researching, truly understanding SEO to actually get the product to move, to get it in front of the right people to get it to move. I could tell you with the utmost certainty, it's not easy. It requires discipline, it requires dedication, it requires consistency, which if those things don't come naturally to you, then just know you're gonna have to force them to. And then last, number 10, and because I'm a logic-driven and analytical-driven person, I feel this is super important to mention. If you're not tracking your costs, if you're not tracking your finances, and you're just guessing at all of it, you are not growing. We're so excited that they're selling stuff, they're packaging it up, and it's going out the door. And when you start to dig into the financials, they are not making significant amounts of money. They are basically feeding their shopping addiction or thrifting addiction and breaking even. And if that's what you're doing this for, that's great. Who cares? Break even and have fun with it. But if you are trying to make financial gains, if you are trying to grow your reselling business, you need to understand your cost of goods. Make sure that you are making an income if that is what your goal is, because a lot of times when it comes to selling things, it feels like certain things are moving, it feels like you're making money, but until you look at it in black and white, you may be disappointed to see what the actual results are. So those are my hot takes, which are basically friendly reminders from a part-time reseller that's experienced a lot and what I would like to have heard when I first started reselling. Now, I love to hear your hot takes. So let me know which one of these completely resonated with you. That is awesome. We are on the same page. But also let me know which one where you're like, girl, there's no way. I have never experienced that ever. Go ahead and drop those in the comment section below. I love to hear different perspectives, and then also it's super helpful for when people to come in and look at the comment section of the video, then they can learn and maybe give them some ideas to help their reselling business. Along this same vein, which hits on a lot of the key points that we've talked about here, I made a video called All About Thrifting Smarter. And basically my motivation was I'm in an area where there's not a lot of thrifting to be grabbed, and there are a ton of resellers. So it explains how I thrift smarter to make sure that I can get a higher return on my investment, especially when there's not a lot to get. So I'll link that here. As always, you guys know I appreciate you so much for watching, and I really do love your continued support, so thank you so much for that. And I will see you next week with some more reselling content. And don't forget, here at Sequels, the remake, it can outshine the original. Have a great one, guys. Bye.